My name is Claire. I am 34 years old. I am a mother of one little girl. Her name is Lily. She is 7. For years I believed that if I stayed quiet, stayed helpful, stayed agreeable, life would reward me for it. Then my mother died, and the people closest to me showed me what they really were. If you are here with me, thank you for giving me a few minutes of your time. I will tell you exactly how it happened from the beginning. My mother passed away in late spring after a long illness. In the last year she was alive, I was the one who drove her to appointments. I was the one who sat beside her bed when she could not sleep. I was the one who listened when she got scared and tried to hide it behind small talk. My sister Veronica lived close enough to visit far enough to avoid the hard parts. She came with bright smiles and quick hugs, then left before the long nights, before the paperwork, before the quiet fear that hangs in a room when a parent starts to fade. At the funeral, Veronica cried when people watched. When people looked away, she checked her phone and fixed her hair. Her husband Grant stood beside her like a polished accessory. They looked like a couple who always landed on their feet. My husband Mark held my hand that day, but it felt like a performance. His palm was cold. He stared at my sister more than he looked at me. 3 weeks later, we met with the lawyer for the will reading. The office felt too clean for grief. Beige walls, leather chairs, a faint smell of coffee that had been reheated too many times. Veronica sat straight, calm, confident. Grant leaned back like he belonged there. Mark sat beside me, but he did not look at me. He scrolled through his phone until the lawyer cleared his throat. Mr. Hensley opened a folder and began reading in a careful voice. My mother owned more than most people realized. She built her life slowly, with patience, with decisions that looked boring to outsiders. A cleaning business first, then one rental, then another, then a few properties around the lake. I assumed she would split things evenly. I assumed love worked that way. Mr. Hensley read the first item. Lakeside Row apartments would go to Veronica. Luxury rentals downtown, steady income, always full. Veronica smiled. Grant squeezed her hand. Then Mr. Hensley continued. The rest of the lake properties would stay under Veronica control, the polished kind of assets people brag about before they even cash the first check. Mark sat up straighter. Veronica looked pleased, like someone accepting what she deserved. Then Mr. Hensley turned the page. Lakeview Pines RV Park, including the office building and all related parcels, would go to Claire. For a moment, the room went silent. Then Veronica made a small sound like she had swallowed a laugh. Grant looked down, trying to hide his grin. Mark did not hide anything. He stared at me with a tight jaw like I had embarrassed him in public. Everyone in town knew Lakeview Pines. The sign flickered at night. The office building leaned a little. People joked about it being a place for broken trailers and bad decisions. It sat past the nice cabins and boat rentals where the lake road got rough and the trees grew thick. I felt heat rise to my face. Not because I wanted the cabins, but because the room suddenly treated me like a punchline. Mr. Hensley read the rest, a few smaller accounts, personal items, furniture. I barely heard him. My ears rang like I was underwater. Outside, Veronica touched my arm with fake softness. Well, she said, you always did like projects. I did not answer. In the parking lot, Mark slammed the car door too hard and drove home without saying a single word. That evening, Veronica invited us to dinner. She said it would be good to be together. Mark agreed before I could speak. I should have refused. Grief makes you tired, and tired people walk into traps. Veronica hosted like she was throwing a party. Candles on the table, wine poured early, food arranged like a magazine photo. Grant laughed loud. Mark laughed with him. Lily sat at the kitchen island eating bread, swinging her legs, talking about a school craft she made. Veronica watched her like she was a distant relative. Halfway through dinner, Mark stood up with his glass. Mark never stood up for anything unless it served him. He cleared his throat and looked at Veronica. Congratulations, he said. You got the assets that matter. Real properties. Real income. You and Grant are going to do great. Veronica smiled, pleased but pretending to be modest. Then Mark turned his eyes to me. His smile sharpened. And Claire, he said, I hope you enjoy your little RV park. I guess you can park some old trailers and call it a business. At least you will have somewhere to camp when you run out of real options. A few relatives laughed. Not loud, but enough. Enough to make my stomach twist. I forced a small smile. My fingers tightened around my fork. I could feel Lily watching me, trying to understand why adults were being cruel in a room full of food. Veronica made a soft sound. Mark, she said, be nice. But her eyes were bright. She liked the show. Dinner kept going. I barely tasted anything. Every few minutes, Mark tossed another comment, another joke, another reminder that he did not respect me. He was not just insulting me. He was signaling to everyone that I was beneath him. After dessert, the guests left. Veronica hugged me and whispered that I would be fine in the tone people use when they do not believe it. We drove home in silence again. When Lily was upstairs brushing her teeth, Mark finally spoke. This is humiliating, he said. Everyone is going to know my wife inherited a dump. I stared at him. My mother just died, I said. He waved it away. Do not make this about grief, he said. This is about you. You never bring anything valuable. Your sister got real properties. You got a joke. That tells me what your mother thought of you. The words hit hard. I felt my throat tighten. I took care of her, I said. I was there every day. And what did you get? Mark said. A broken park and a pity look. You are useless, Claire. You always have been. You do not win. You just endure. It is pathetic. I stared at him like I had never seen him before. Then he pointed toward the door. If you love that RV park so much, he said, go live there. Take Lily. Go camp in your inheritance. Let us see how long you last. My hands shook. You want me to take our child out at night, I said. He shrugged. She is your responsibility, he said. You are the one who failed. Stop acting like a victim. You are not a victim. You are just weak. Upstairs, Lily called my name. She must have heard something in my voice. I swallowed. I did not cry. Not in front of Mark. He fed on weakness. I went upstairs. I told Lily we were going on a short trip. I kept my voice calm. I packed a backpack with clothes and a toothbrush and her favorite pajama shirt. She asked if we were going to Grandma's house. I said not tonight. When we walked downstairs, Mark stood by the door with his arms crossed. You made your choice, he said. No, I thought. You made it for me. We left. The air outside was cold for spring. The sky was dark. Lily sat in the back seat, quiet and confused. I buckled her in and started driving. As I pulled away, I saw Mark in the doorway watching us like we were trash he had finally taken out. The drive took about 40 minutes. The road grew emptier. Streetlights disappeared. Trees crowded the edges of the pavement. The lake road curved and dipped. Wind pushed at the car. Lily spoke softly. Mom, are we in trouble? She said. I tightened my grip on the wheel. No, I said. We are safe. We are just sleeping somewhere else tonight. She yawned. Pancakes in the morning, she said. I felt a lump in my throat. Yes, I said. Pancakes. When we reached Lakeview Pines, my headlights swept across gravel and weeds. The sign flickered with missing letters. The office building sat near the entrance, small peeling paint porch boards warped by time. Beyond it, empty parking pads stretched toward the trees. The lake was a dark sheet through the branches. Lily stared out the window. This place looks scary, she said. It is just old, I said. We will stay inside. We will be warm. The office door was locked. I found the envelope from the lawyer and pulled out the keys. My hands were cold. The second key clicked. The door creaked open. Dust and stale carpet smell rushed out. I found a light switch. The overhead light buzzed, flickered, then stayed on. The front office was small. A counter with a worn surface. A couple of chairs. A bulletin board with faded notices. Behind the counter, a narrow hallway led to a back room. I guided Lily inside. We moved quietly like we were trespassing. The back room had a small bedroom with an old mattress on a frame. There was a wall heater. I turned it on. It rattled and blew weak, warm air. I pulled blankets from the trunk. I spread them out. Lily crawled onto the mattress and tucked herself under the covers, clutching her stuffed rabbit. She watched me. Is Dad mad at you? She said. I knelt beside her. Dad is upset, I said. But you did nothing wrong. You are safe with me. I promise. She nodded, still unsure. When she finally drifted to sleep, I sat on the edge of the mattress and stared at the dim room. My chest felt hollow. Not just grief, but something sharper. Mark words replayed. Useless. Weak. Pathetic. And then another thought came. The one I hated most. What if my mother also thought I was the lesser child? What if she gave Veronica the valuable properties because Veronica deserved them, and gave me the RV park because it did not matter? My throat tightened. I stood and went back to the front office. I needed movement. If I stayed still, I might break. I ran my fingers over the dusty counter. I opened a drawer. Old forms, rusted keys, receipts. Nothing. Then I noticed something under the counter taped to the underside like a secret. A small black lockbox. It did not look dusty. It looked newer than everything else, like it had been handled more recently. My heart began to pound. I crouched and touched it. Cold metal. A simple keyhole. I pulled the key ring from my pocket. I tested keys one by one. The third key fit. I paused with my fingers on the key. This was the moment that scared me most. Not because of what might be inside, but because of what might not be inside. If it was empty, then the laughter at dinner was right. Then Mark was right. Then I really had been left with nothing but a joke. I took a slow breath and turned the key. The lock clicked. I lifted the lid. Inside was a thick binder wrapped in plastic, a worn blue notebook, and a manila envelope labeled in my mother handwriting. My vision blurred. My mother handwriting. My chest tightened. I opened the notebook first. Neat writing. Dates, notes, short instructions. On the first page, a single line made my whole body go still. Claire, if you are reading this, it means they showed you who they are and you made it here anyway. A hot tear slid down my cheek. I wiped it fast like the air could judge me. I read on. I did not give you this place because it is pretty. I gave it to you because it is positioned to become powerful. They will laugh. Let them. People who laugh at ugly beginnings never recognize the value of a strong ending. My hands trembled. I set the notebook down and opened the binder. Inside were printed maps, meeting minutes, stamped pages with county seals, and a summary titled, Lakefront Tourism Redevelopment District. My pulse raced. The maps showed the lakefront area highlighted wrapping along the shoreline and stretching to the road where this RV park sat. There were notes about revitalizing the lake as a destination. Upgraded roads, a public boardwalk, new docks. Incentives for lodging and recreation businesses, phased approvals, timelines. Then I saw it. The parcel numbers listed, including the number that matched my deed. My breath caught. This was real. I opened the manila envelope, a letter written in my mother handwriting on plain paper. Claire, she wrote, I know what it feels like to be treated like the helper, not the heir. I have watched you carry burdens without applause. That is why I trusted you with the thing that will grow. Veronica sees only what shines today. She chases the front door and the applause. She does not understand long games. This property sits in the path of what is coming. People in offices have already voted on it. Values will climb. Visitors will come. There will be offers. There will be pressure. There will be people who pretend they care once they smell profit. Do not let them push you out. You are not weak. You are steady. And steady is what survives storms. I pressed the letter to my chest and let out a quiet sound that was half sob, half laugh. The air in the office felt different. The same walls, the same dust, but not the same meaning. I was not discarded. I had been chosen. I locked everything back in the box and taped it in place again. Then I returned to the back room and lay down beside my daughter, listening to her breathe. For the first time since my mother died, I slept without feeling like I was falling. In the morning, sunlight seeped through the curtains. The heater had sputtered out, but Lily was warm under blankets. She blinked at me and smiled. Pancakes, she said. Yes, I said. Pancakes. The RV park was still within driving distance of town, so I kept Lily routine as normal as I could. We drove into town for breakfast. Lily ate and laughed with syrup on her cheeks. I watched her and felt something steady in my chest. After I dropped her at school, I drove straight to the county planning office. The building was plain, a lobby with old chairs, posters about permits and zoning. A woman at the front desk wore glasses and a name tag that read Denise. I walked up and kept my voice calm. My name is Claire Rowan, I said. I have a question about the Lakefront Redevelopment District. Denise nodded. What property, she said. I handed her the parcel number. She typed. Her eyes moved across the screen. Her eyebrows lifted slightly. Lakeview Pines, she said. My heart thumped. Yes, I said. Denise lowered her voice a little. That parcel is inside the redevelopment boundary, she said. Approved in phases. There is investor interest already. Lodging sites are a big focus. RV parks can do well if upgraded. People want lake access family sites, simple stays. So it is real, I said. Denise looked at me. It is real, she said. Most owners do not notice until offers arrive. If you own it, talk to an attorney before you sign anything. I nodded. Thank you, I said. Outside, the air felt sharper, cleaner, like my life had snapped into focus. I called an attorney that day, Sandra Pike, a name my mother had written in the binder margins. Sandra met me that afternoon. She was direct, practical, no patience for nonsense. She reviewed the documents and looked at me. Your mother was smart, she said. This district will raise values fast. You have leverage. You need protection. Protection, I repeated. Sandra nodded. Your husband and your sister will try to get control, she said. You do not sign anything. You do not explain anything. You route everything through counsel. I thought of Mark Voice. Useless. I thought of Lily sleeping in a strange room. I want stability, I said. I want a future they cannot kick us out of. Sandra nodded once. Then we work, she said. That same week, Sandra put a formal separation and parenting plan in motion, and from then on I followed every instruction she gave me. Over the next few days I kept my head down. I did not return to Mark House. I fixed only what I needed at the RV park. Small things first. Cleaning, better bedding, a safer heater, a working lamp. Enough to breathe. Mark texted. Come home. Stop being dramatic. I did not answer. Veronica called. Her voice was sweet. Claire, she said, I have been worried. Are you okay? I kept my tone flat. I am fine, I said. She rushed into concern that sounded rehearsed. I heard rumors about development near the lake, she said. Those places attract shady offers. I do not want you taken advantage of. In a small town, a redevelopment hearing does not stay quiet for long. Then she offered the real reason. Grant and I could help you manage it, she said. We have experience. You could sign it over to us, we handle the hard parts, you take a payout. There it was, the hand reaching for something she suddenly wanted. I breathed slowly. Thank you, I said. I will consider it. After I hung up, I stood in the office, staring at the lockbox under the counter. My mother had predicted this perfectly. Friendly smiles, not friendly contracts. That night I wrote a short list. What I would do, what I would not do. I would not sign anything without Sandra. I would not hand over control. I would not return to a house where my child could be thrown out like luggage. I would not accept humiliation as normal. If you have ever had the people closest to you decide you're worth too early, stay with me. And if stories like this are your kind of revenge, subscribe, because this was the moment the ground started shifting under them. 2 days later, Mark showed up. He drove into Lakeview Pines like he was arriving to rescue me. He stepped out wearing a jacket he saved for nice restaurants. He looked around like the air itself offended him. Claire, he called loud enough for a camper nearby to hear. I walked out of the office. I kept my posture steady. Behind me, Lily peeked from the doorway. Mark forced a smile. There you are, he said. We need to talk. We can talk, I said. He glanced at the building. You cannot keep Lily here, he said. This is not a home. Come back. We will figure it out. I met his eyes. You told me to come here, I said. You kicked us out. His jaw tightened. I was upset, he said. You know how I get when stressed. I nodded. Yes, I said. I know. He stepped closer, lowering his voice like he was being reasonable. Veronica told me there might be development interest, he said. If that is true, we need to be smart. We are married. We handle it together. Together, I repeated. You let me take the lead on this, he said. I handle the negotiations and you keep Lily life stable. He said it like it was generous, like I should be grateful. I felt something settle in my chest. A quiet door closing. No, I said. Mark blinked. What he said. No, I said again. You do not manage anything. You do not benefit from what you tried to destroy. His face hardened. You are being emotional, he said. You are making this about feelings. It is about feelings, I said. It is also about safety. You are not safe for me. Mark let out a short laugh. Safe, he said. You are dramatic. I turned slightly and met my daughter's eyes, then looked back at Mark. You can leave, I said. Mark, anger flashed. You cannot keep my child from me, he said. Visits will go through the parenting plan my attorney sent, I said. The word attorney changed his expression. Like a bully realizing the room has witnesses. Mark's mouth opened. Attorney, he said. I nodded. Yes, I said. He stared at me, then looked around at the property like he suddenly saw it differently. Like it might have value now. He lowered his voice again. Claire, do not do this, he said. You are throwing away your marriage over one fight. I stayed still. It was not one fight, I said. It was years. This is just the day I stopped pretending it was normal. Mark's face tightened. He took a step back. You are making a mistake, he said. I did not raise my voice. You already made yours, I said. He turned and walked back to his car, gravel crunching under his shoes. He drove out fast, throwing dust behind him. That night, Sandra called me. She said an inquiry had come in, not a rumor, not a maybe, a real inquiry connected to the redevelopment district. She told me one thing. Do not let them bait you into talking. Let them show up. Let them say it out loud. Sandra told me Mark had already contacted her trying to get information and she scheduled a meeting so he would say everything in writing. 2 mornings later, Sandra asked me to come to her office. She said she wanted me there in person because she expected someone else would try to push past her. When I arrived, I saw Veronica and Mark in the waiting area. They were sitting side by side like a team, like they had practiced their faces in a mirror. Veronica stood first. Her voice went sweet. Claire, she said, we are just trying to help you. This is big money. You need family. Mark nodded beside her like he had always been supportive. Sandra's assistant sat behind the front desk watching quietly. Not smiling. Not chatting. Just watching. Sandra stepped out of her office and looked at them calmly. She did not greet them like friends. We went into the conference room. A clean table. A pitcher of water. A stack of paper already waiting. Veronica sat with perfect posture. Mark leaned forward like he was ready to negotiate. Sandra sat at the head of the table. I sat beside her. I placed one folder on the table, the county seal visible at the top, the redevelopment district confirmation inside. Veronica's eyes dropped to the page. Her smile twitched. Mark leaned in, and his mouth opened slightly like he was seeing the truth for the first time. Not because he cared, but because it had a price tag. Veronica tried to recover. Claire, she said, this is exactly why we should consolidate. You cannot handle this alone. You will ruin it. Mark cleared his throat. Claire, he said, let us be practical. You put the property under my control, and I will make sure you get paid. We can fix things. We can be a team. I watched them both. They still thought they were above me. They still thought I was the girl at the table who would apologize for breathing. Sandra slid another page forward, a short written note summarizing the inquiry and the terms of interest. The kind of page people pretend they do not want to see while their hands shake to touch it. Veronica read the first line, her face drained. She blinked fast like the words were smoke in her eyes. Mark stared at the numbers on the page, then looked up at me, and I saw at the moment his respect tried to switch on like a light he refused to use until the room became profitable. Veronica put the page down and forced a smile that looked painful. Claire, she said, you do not have to do this alone. Let me help. Let me protect you. We are sisters. Mark nodded quickly. I can come back home, he said. Lily needs stability. You need me. I kept my voice calm. You laughed at me when you thought it was nothing, I said. You do not get to call it family now. Veronica's eyes narrowed. You are being petty, she said. Sandra spoke once, flat and sharp. All communication goes through me, she said. Any attempt to pressure my client will be documented. Mark shifted in his seat. He tried to smile. Claire, he said, do not do this. You are making enemies. I looked at him and delivered the one line I had saved since the dinner table. You called me useless when you thought I had nothing, I said. You can take that judgment somewhere else now. The room went still. Veronica grabbed her purse. Her hands shook. She stood too fast, chair scraping the floor. Mark stood as well, face tight, eyes angry and embarrassed. Sandra opened the conference room door. Her assistant watched them walk out. Nobody said goodbye. In the waiting area, people looked up and Veronica kept her eyes forward like she could outwalk shame. When the door closed, I exhaled slowly. Not because I felt lucky. Because the trap had finally sprung and they were the ones caught inside it. After that, everything moved faster. Sandra handled inquiries. She kept my name protected. She built a wall between me and anyone who wanted to bully me into giving away control. I did not rebuild the whole RV park overnight. I did not pretend life turned into a perfect movie, but I did fix the basics. I made the office safe. I made the back room warm. I put up a new sign that actually stayed lit. And Lily stopped asking if we were in trouble. One evening, she sat on the porch steps looking at the lake through the trees and she said something simple. Mom, she said, I like it here. I sat beside her. I looked at the water reflecting the last light of the day. I felt my chest settle into something steady. My mother did not leave me an ugly property because she did not value me. She left it because she trusted me. She trusted that I would survive laughter and keep going long enough to see the truth. The truth was simple. I was not useless. I was the one who could build. If you like stories where the one they dismissed becomes the one they cannot move, subscribe and stay with me for the next one.